Welcome to episode number 10 on the My Story podcast. The My Story podcast features interviews with leaders, influencers, and entrepreneurs who tell us their story and the life lessons they've learned along the way. Hi, my name's Conrad Weaver, and I'm the host for the show. I'm a filmmaker, I'm an entrepreneur, and a storyteller, and I rather enjoy sailing on a good windy day out on the water. And I can't wait for the next time I get out there. In the meantime, I'm so glad that you've stopped by to listen to the show today. I recently had the opportunity to interview Keula Binelly. Keula is an entrepreneur, a socialite. She has a number of businesses in the greater DC area, and she's been making a name for herself for some time there. She's also an immigrant from Brazil, and we're going to learn and hear how she came to America and the challenges she faced after leaving a successful business in Brazil, and came here to the U.S. to relaunch a career, and we're going to learn more about that. So that's coming up in a little bit. But first, if you enjoy these podcasts and have been listening for a little while, but have not put a review down on iTunes or one of the other sources of where you get your podcasts, I would really encourage you to do that. It really helps me learn more about what you like to hear and what you enjoy listening to, and it will help guide future podcasts that I put on for the My Story podcast. So take some time if you can and leave a review on iTunes or on the podcast page itself. That would be fantastic. You can also put it on our Facebook page, My Story Podcast Facebook page. I would appreciate it. So a brief word about our sponsor for this month, and that's Furnace Hills Coffee. Furnace Hills is amazing coffee. It's the coffee that I choose to drink and have been drinking for quite some time, and it really is some of the best coffee you've ever had. If you are a coffee connoisseur, you owe it to yourself to go to furnacehillscoffee.com and order a pound or 2 or 5 from Furnace Hills Coffee. You will find that it's amazing coffee, and it's not only special coffee, but it's roasted by special people, because Furnace Hills hires developmentally disabled folks who have a job, who roast the beans, who bag it up, and who participate in the business there. And it's one of their missions to hire developmentally disabled folks, and I love that. And so if you can help support them and their mission and their business, go to furnacehillscoffee.com, order some coffee, and use the promo code MyStory, and you'll save 25% on your order. So furnacehillscoffee.com, go there, order coffee. You'll like it, you'll love it, and you'll be back for more, I promise. So now on to my interview with Keula Binelly. Keula, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you all.
So tell me a little bit about who you are and what do you do?
Well, I am Keula Binelly, and actually I am from Brazil. I am Brazilian, and I moved to this country 14 years ago looking for the American dream. Right? Wow. Didn't know anybody. I barely speak English. It just came just looking for the American dream, and I think I got it. Yeah.
So what inspired you to move to America?
It's just like people that live here, they don't realize how blessed we are, right? And because sometimes people take things for granted. And Brazil is a great country, right, to live. And I had business back in Brazil too. Mm-hmm. But things doesn't happen like here. I feel like here in U.S., everybody has the same opportunity, and that's what the great about this country. That's what brought me here.
Very good. So where did you grow up in Brazil, and what was your family like, and what got you into doing what you're doing today?
Well, I grew up, like I said, in Brazil and in a small town. And it's just like, those times kids are different. Like we don't watch much TVs. We did not have cell phones. So we did, play outside, right? Do the kids stuff. And I since I was kid, I always had business in my blood. You believe or not, another day I was invited just to speak in a women conference, and they were talking about when I actually start my business. And then when I realized that my first business, I start at 6.
Wow.
And everybody was like, how come? And I say, yes, I used to design clothes for my dolls, and sell to my friends. That was my first business. And I always play a big role as a leader in school, with my friends. I always had a creative mind. I always came up with some new ideas and reinventing things around me, right? And that's why I think, it took me today where I am at, right? And I was big involved with charities. We did, at the church on Sundays, we used just to walk the neighborhood asking for donation, to collect stuff to help people less privileged. So I always been involved, with charity as well. I think that's a big part, that, took me where I am today too, right?
Sure. Wow. So you had your first business at 6.
Yep.
So did you go into business later on then back in Brazil as well?
Yeah. What happened is, at 16, I got in college, and then after my degrees in business administration, and so after college, I opened my business, my real business, right? It was a clothing line, and my mom was my partner. And after that, I just opened many others, right? I say, like, I'm crazy entrepreneur, and I'm a risk taker. And, I have failed so many times, but I always fell forward. I don't get intimidated. And I think that's why I keep trying.
So how was it different starting a business in Brazil versus starting a business in America?
Yeah, it's a big difference. I think here, you work hard but it plays off, and of course for any business, sometimes it takes time, right? For you to get the results that you're looking for. But I did see, that it pays off in the end, and it's faster than in Brazil. Brazil, there is a lot of things that, I think is the economy, tax, a lot of things that, keep you away just to succeed sometimes. And I'm not saying to all the business, but I tried so many business back in Brazil, like besides, the boutique, the design Brazilian clothing line. I also had the spa, hair salon. I also had the restaurant. So I had franchise as well before I came here. And I sold, pretty much everything in 2005, and I came here.
Wow. So when you came here, what did you do? How did you start? How did you begin to work on your new businesses? What was that process like?
Yeah, you have to understand that when you come here as an immigrant, right? And it's just like you like a little bird. You have to start all over again. That's why sometimes, people don't realize, all those people that come here, including myself, looking for the American dream, it's not that easy from the beginning. But because you leave your family behind, you leave your friends behind, you have to start over. You have to learn everything again, and then the thing people don't realize. And sometimes you actually, when you come, you can't start to doing exactly what you're doing back in Brazil doing here, right? Because you have to adjust the language and get to know people. So when I came here, I came for the IBS beauty show. That's because I was in the beauty business back in Brazil, right? Because I owned the spa and the hair salon. So I came to New York for the IBS beauty show. And then I just I tried just to pursue that path, but then things didn't really work out. And I had a restaurant back in Brazil, and then I started to work with a catering company. And then when I started to work with the catering, because, I have a catering company today too, for 11 years, the beginning, I was just, I was the waiter. I helped at the kitchen with preparation, pretty much wear all the hats at the time because you have to do what takes, right?
That's part of being an entrepreneur, right? You kind of have to do everything to start with.
Absolutely. But the thing is, I tell people and I tell, the young entrepreneur, it's just like, even at that time, I knew that I was qualified to do other things too, but I would do anything that my boss at the time asked me to do it. And then when he realized that, the potential that I had, right? He said, oh, this lady here, she can be more than a waiter, she has big potential. And he started to take me for the New York food shows, introduced me to the vendors, and I learned to learn more about the business, and he started to take me for the clients because he noticed that I was very genuine and likable and clients liked me. So that's how I learned about the catering business. And then I started with the catering business. It was the first business I started when I came here.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So how did you get clients then?
Well, by that time, again, like I said, it just, I worked for this company for about a year. And then after that, I start just to go to Brazilian Embassy, Brazilian Army Commission, Brazilian Navy Commission. So look for the, Brazilian community from the beginning. And I got a lot of business, and then I start to go to the Chamber of Commerce meetings. I start to go to BNI, sign up myself for BNI, Business Network International. And it was so impressive because I remember when I started my business, I was at Chamber. And at the time, my English wasn't that great, and because it's a learning process, right? So we're talking about, 13 years ago. And I was at the Chamber and I met this gentleman, he play a big, role in my life. Because I was talking to him and I mentioned to him, how terrified I was to speak in public. I felt bad because my accent, I speak English as a second language. This gentleman is from Israel and he's been in this country at the time for 27 years. And then he told me something. We don't realize sometimes how words are powerful. So he told me something that really impacted me, changed my life. He told me, Keula, your accent is advantage, no disadvantage. Just understand when you go to a room and you speak, people will listen to you more than they'll listen to any American out there. So take advantage of your accent, And since then, I forgot about my accent. And then I realized how charming is my accent. And I started to use my accent as advantage.
That's awesome. That's a really amazing story. And when people speak into our lives, you never know what you can do.
Absolutely.
In someone else's life.
The words are powerful. We never know, what people out there need to hear. That's important that if you have something to say it the positive way, always say it. You never know.
And it works the other way too. If you're speaking negativity on someone,
absolutely,
you don't know what power that has over someone.
Absolutely. I have a saying that, it's my favorite saying. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all.
Exactly. Yeah. So right. What are some of the wins you've had, some of the successes you've had in business once you came here?
Well, I feel so blessed because, because today, that I have a few business, like you said, right? I have my catering, I have my Brazilian clothing line, I have our Wasabi Sexy Social Women Club that has been so empowering and it's just amazing. And one thing I like the most is about relationships, right? Because people don't realize that in order to be successful, no matter what business that you're doing, relationship matters, because at the end of the day, you're doing business, but the other person that you're dealing out there is a person too. That is a person that is, a personality. And people, pretty much people offer, there is a lot of people out there offering the same products, the same things. It's slightly different here and there. But at the end of the day, people are going to be loyal to you because they like you. They're going to do business with you because they like you. And I love that. I have been able to build this incredible network. I have met so many great people, through my 14 years that I have been in this country, and I felt I have built the strongest relationship here in 14 years in U.S. that I have built my entire life in Brazil. Is not that amazing?
Wow. That's awesome. What would you do differently if you had a do-over?
Well, I would say that, of course, like, because I have the business in my blood, but, I
Mhm.
think if I have to do differently, start over, because my first business I start at age, of 19. So I do more planning, right? Do,
Mhm.
more homework. Like,
Mhm.
because sometimes we get so excited about the idea that we have this idea, let me do it. And I don't think we spend enough time, planning, right? Getting to know, our competitors, what people are doing out there, because it's important. The thing is, being a business owner, it's great because you're in charge, with your life, but also you have to understand you have to wear all the hats all the
Mhm.
time, right? It's not
Mhm.
like, okay, you work and then 8 hours a day and then you close to go home. So you have to do some homework. You gotta get to know your competitors before you even start your business, And then also, have adequate capital. A lot of people, of course, if you are not fortunate enough to have a lot of money, to come from a family that have a lot of money, in the beginning it's hard. You start
Mhm.
with no money at all,
Mhm.
right?
I think that's great advice to look at your competitors. I was meeting with a friend earlier this week, and he has a coffee roasting business, and he wants to do some campaigns, some marketing campaigns, and in a specific niche. And so I said, "Well, who are the other people out there who are doing this?" And he was like, "I never thought about looking." And
We learn
it's
so much from our competitors. And what I did, actually, the first year when I started the catering business, I was pretty much by myself, and it felt lonely, because
mm,
it's hard. And
sure.
I joined, NACES, that National Association for Caterers. That's important.
Hmm.
Look for the association, that whatever
Hmm.
you're doing or the business, look for the association. Try just to connect with those people, and just going to the meetings, attending events, you're going to learn, because
Absolutely.
yeah, you're going to learn. And the thing is, we will learn with their mistakes too, right?
Sure.
I
Yeah.
remember going to bridal shows and meeting all the caterers out there, and stopping and being humble enough to share with the owner, to tell them, I just start this, if there is any advice that you can give it to me. And a lot of them, gave me, great advice, it helped me a lot.
That's if there's a young person and they are thinking about starting up something, what word of advice would you give them? What's the first thing they should do?
I always think, like, it's always good to have a mentor, right?
Mm.
Like I say, because you can get good advice. I always tell, everybody, we should have three people, surround ourselves with three different people. One that is in the same stage of life that you are, doing similar stuff. One that, know more than you do, that's going to be your coach, your mentor, going to help you with your decisions, right? And another one that you can coach as well, so that will keep you balanced, and that's what I try to do in my life, you
That's
know
a great word of advice. So let's talk about your network, your Savvy Sexy Social Network. Tell me about what that is and who's it for and how long have you been doing this?
Well, Conrad, Savvy Sexy Social, we are an enthusiastic group of women across DC metro area that come together for inspiration, networking, plus a lot of parties and fun. We bring women together to support, encourage, and most important, to inspire one on another. I create this club. Actually, I've been doing this, bringing a woman together to inspire one on another over the years, like I would say for about 10 years, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
what I noticed that when I came to this country, wherever I go, whatever place I was going, I noticed that every place that you go, there is a tribe. And
Hmm.
in order to become a member of that tribe, sometimes you have to change who you are, because people have that kind of expectation, oh, you can be accepted in this tribe, but you gotta just do exactly what we do. And I was, I'm Brazilian, and I'm a little different than, especially this area here, with the area
Hmm.
that we live. It's a very conservative area. People are a little bit different than the people that we go to California, you go to Miami, they are a little different. And I saw that there was expectation for me to change, and I say no, I am who I am, and I will stay true to myself, and they accept me for who I am. And I'm proud about that. What I noticed that is a lot of people out there, especially women, they go through life pretending to be somebody else, right?
That's so true.
Yeah,
Right.
not being themselves, and just in order to be accepted, with the family, with the husband, with the tribe, the friends. And I say that's not right. So that's why I created, the Savvy Sexy Social. So, so we could inspire and support each other, and also to find balance in life, because that's a big problem. As women, we wear so many hats, right? We are mother, we wife, we are entrepreneurs, so we have our jobs, and sometimes we feel selfish. We think it's selfish to us to take time for ourselves, and I think it's just like my husband always say, "Happy wife, happy life." Don't you agree? Don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think when you are happy, with yourself, everything else, it just, it makes you happy too, right? You're
Well,
better.
you guys have, I'm looking at your website here, and you guys have done a lot of different events.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. Yes, we do. We do average 10 to 13 events per month. It sounds crazy,
Wow.
right?
Yeah. How do you do all that?
Well, I just, I have these wonderful ladies, actually, that they is part of my team, Laura, Kelly, they're actually here with me, and Janina. So they are my PR assistants. So they help me just to, they are my voice, right? Like I said, I'm ESL, I speak English as a second language. So they help me just to put whatever I want there on the website, and they help me to create the events. And of course, because all the ladies, the amazing ladies that I have been able to meet, right? They all, because the club, it's so, I always say this, okay? If you go to the first day of job, or if you go to a class, the first day of your class, if you stand, on the corner and don't say hi to anybody, you know what you're going to get? You're not going to meet
Right.
people, right?
Right.
But for any club, anything that you're part of, you gotta be proactive. So so this is what I tell the ladies when they join the club. Say, listen, reach out to the other ladies, attend some events. It's impossible to be able to be in all, but pick a few things that you like to do and come. And then you just meet ladies, be in touch, and that's how things work,
That is awesome. Where can people find these events? Where can they go to sign up? Or can any woman sign up and go? Or
Yeah, so our club, there is a membership. So you got to go to the website. So if anyone is interested to join us, they got to go to the website, www.savvysexyandsocial.com. And our website is like you said, it's beautiful. We've been putting a lot of time on the website. They can check the type of events we have. We do like boating, Virginia Gold Cup, women who like to dance, so women who like to travel. We like women who love God. So that is different things for different tastes, and that people, if they want to join us, that is so many things. And they also they can go to the calendar on the website, and they can see all the events that we have through the year. We have events already scheduled through December. So
Wow.
they can go ahead and just save the date. They can see the testimonials online as well in our website. So that is, we have a blog on the website too. They can learn more about the members and what we're doing.
That is awesome. So what are some of the people or books or things that have influenced you over the years?
Well, I'm a big fan of Oprah. I just, I think, she really inspired me, and I had watched all her shows, and I follow her, and I'm a big fan of Lisa Nichols. I don't know if you ever heard about her. She's
No.
amazing as well. I have, watched all her shows. And leaders, I love it. Eleanor Roosevelt, right? And
Right.
Nelson Mandela. I really admire also Steve Jobs. I think he made a big impact, in our lives, right? And and there is some book that actually I'm reading one now that I met this lady for one event that I attended early last month, Laura DeFranco. I'm reading her book, Brave Healer, and it's a great book, and I've been reading, and it's really great.
Very good. So what's the next big thing for you?
I in my life, like I say, living a life, I'm looking to live a life with purpose every day. And I have to tell you something, just because sometimes in life it's so hard for you just to get lost, And I used to give an example like the hamster in a wheel. Right? We get up, we go to work, and then we have lunch, we come back home. And it's easy for us just to have that life. And my goal is to live a life with purpose every single day. That's my goal. And then actually, to be honest with you, it started back December 2017 when I just I created my Let's Keep It Real show. And I decided just to, because that is such a social media today is so powerful. And that's why I thought like I want to use social media for good. I want also to come here to share something positive, something about my life in the positive way, because I believe we all different people, but we deal with different issues in life in different times. And then I think when we share our story, we can help others, and at the same time you help yourself too. And that's why I've been evoking the past 2 years, and then I'm so happy where I stand right now, and I can't wait to see the Keula in the next year or so, because my goal is to keep evoking and growing, and again to deliver my message out there that we all beautiful, and in life it's amazing, and we only have one, and we should just enjoy life to the fullest.
Absolutely. That is such a powerful thing to live a life for purpose, with purpose. I think that's something that I'm working harder and harder to really be that person that lives with purpose.
And again, it's just like I tell everybody, I've been learning over the past 5 years, because to live a life of a purpose, because, it's again, one day you get up and then you say, you better have more, besides this, because why? Because, sometimes you have ups and downs, life is not easy, right? And then if you don't have a real purpose, and then it becomes hard, right? But and then when I always tell focus on the prize, right? And not at the moment the things that you're dealing every day, because yes, we're gonna have bad days, right? But if you focus, if you keep your eyes on the prize, and that's to say the purpose, right, in life, and then it seems like it's easier to go through life every day.
Absolutely. Well, Keula, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you, and exciting to hear what you're doing and the things you're doing to help others, and that's been amazing. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on the program today and being a part of this. I really do appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. This was amazing, and I hope to have you coming to my show too, my Let's Keep It Real.
I would love to. Love to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keula, for spending time with me on today's program. So be sure to tune in next week for my interview with Bruce McMahon. Bruce is the president of CMA Purchasing Company based in Frederick, Maryland. He's played a significant role in expanding CMA's product and service offering while building the infrastructure necessary to support the company's growth. Today, he's responsible for the strategic growth of the company, as well as for monitoring tactical operations. In this interview, we talk a lot about serving the customer and what that means, and going above and beyond what's expected, something that's sometimes not practiced in the business world today. So be sure to join me next week for the interview with Bruce McMahon. The My Story podcast is produced by Conjo Studios, an award-winning video production company whose focus is helping you tell your story. Visit conjostudios.com, click on the blue Get a Quote button, and let them know what you need. Then watch your stress melt away as their team does the magic of producing your next video or film project. That's conjostudios.com, telling stories that matter. Last, if you have an idea for an interview you'd like to hear, send me a message and I'll see what I can do. Thanks so much for listening. I'll talk to you again next week on the My Story podcast.